Loggers. We talk CM Punk, Monday Night Raw, and here's a fun fact. If you're a woman and you've ever been pregnant with a boy, you've grown a set.
Yo, monkeys, it's me. It's DDP. That's right, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of bada bing, the master of the diamond cutter, the three-time world champion, WWE Hall of Famer, and founder and CEO of DDP Yoga. And baby, it is time. It is time for the Towers of Powers, the men of the hour. I'm talking about my main men, the men with the plan. I'm talking about Whisky Pro and the Brews, baby. And we're bringing you the best in beerskis and whiskeys from the greatest city in the world, Dallas, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, can you dig that, baby? These guys are going to make you boys feel the bang. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Welcome in, everybody. Episode 4? 3, 4. We've already lost count. We've officially already lost count.
How many have you had to drink, man?
2.
You forgot this already.
2. I know, right? Oh,
I'm way ahead of you, man. I've been drinking since 1.
Oh, you lucky dog. No, got home. I put away some laundry, a lot of laundry. Fed the dogs, changed out their water, made the bed, took a shower, ate dinner, was even able to sneak in a cigarette before I jumped on. So
nice. You know what? I sick corrected. It's number 4. I had to look at YouTube for a second. Yep. Oopsie.
Number 4. So here we are, man. Week 4, episode 4, I should say. It's we took last week off, and that's going to happen from the time to time with the show because you've got kids, I've got kids. We have other things come up, right? Show will always be here. We're not going anywhere. But we do have family first. That is my motto. It'll always be the motto with the show. Real quick, speaking of family first, I want to bring this up. I give The Rock a lot of hate outside of wrestling. I don't doubt what the man's done for the industry. He paid his dues. He earned the right to be one of the greatest of all time. And yes, I think even The Rock is one of the greatest of all time. We wouldn't have Smackdown without him. But he did something that was pretty cool. I've seen multiple stories on this, whether it's true, whether it's not true. If it is true, kudos. We all know about the passing of Bray Wyatt. And apparently The Rock has taken it upon himself to actually take Bray Wyatt's family grocery shopping multiple times with his own money out of his own back pocket and put food on the table for this family until they can get on their feet a little bit. So that
I heard something about that. Yeah,
I've seen it on Instagram, Twitter. I've seen it on Facebook. I've heard about it on the radio. So if those stories are true, that is a true class act right there to The Rock. So cheers to The Rock.
Yeah.
And
it came from his from Wyndham's widow as well. She posted it too.
Yeah. So that out of the way, I got to share this. I've had the Stone Cold IPA. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's right there on that middle tier for me as far as beers go. Again, we all know this. This is no surprise. I'm not a big beer guy. So I'm still getting my palate ready for all that kind of stuff. But this here is Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull American Lager. And it is right there's the can.
It's brewed out in Segundo, California, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know what? It is so weird because I will take a sip of beer and I'll hate it. And then the more I drink it throughout the show, I don't mind it. And by the end, it kind of grows on me. And I don't know if that's a craft beer thing. Again, I'm learning this as I go, people. This is nothing like I haven't been doing this a long time. I mean, I've been, I think 2020 or 2019, 2020 was when I got into the craft beer scene originally. And I'm still learning, 3-4 years later, I'm still learning this stuff. But it's just weird to me how you'll take a sip of beer, be like, nope, not going to happen. And then halfway through it, you're like, not too bad. So,
yeah.
I don't have a rating for this one yet. I'm still kind of getting used to it, still trying to figure out the flavors and still still working on me. What are you drinking, man?
I am drinking. It had to be Clowns. It is a DDH IPA. 10%, is it? No, it's an 8%. 8.6. It's a brewery, Beer Zombies. Dude, I love this part of the can. Hang on.
That is so awesome.
That is sick, bro.
You got to take a picture of that and send it to me.
Hell yeah. But yeah, it's a brewery. It's out in California, San Diego. I believe they also have a microbrewery out in Vegas. And I think on the website I saw that they also have another one in Colorado. I think Boulder. So road trip.
Let's do it. You know, I told you before the show, we were kind of talking about this. Vegas scares me. Now, anybody that knows me well knows that I have kind of addictive personality. No, don't get your hopes up. I'm not like some big drug addict or alcoholic or anything like that.
You don't reenact the movie Hangover, do you?
No.
No, of course not. No.
No, not at all. So, no, in all seriousness, I've been to Vegas. I don't remember much about it. Yes, I had a really fun time. I know there were a lot of fun times that were had, or so I was told. Would I ever go back? Yeah, of course I would. But you get into a lot of trouble in Vegas if you're not from there. So I'm told. So
I never had a problem, to be honest.
But no, man. Well,
I mean, shit. I was walking around with a 4-foot margarita cup.
Oh, geez.
I think I showed you the photo. I think. If not, I'm gonna have to find it. But
okay.
It was nice.
So I'm going to give you the option, and I know one of them is going to be last on your list, but let's play fair here.
All right.
We can talk about Payback, what you remember about Payback. We can talk about the last 2 Monday Night Raws, or we can talk about CM Punk getting fired first. We're going to talk about all those things, but which one do you want to talk about first?
I would say screw it. Let's do Payback first, since that was farther back than the Raws, and then just come from there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to kind of jump ahead of you real quick because I feel this needs to be addressed, and I owe the women's division a huge apology. I've said for months that the women's division needed to kind of step up their game, and Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus delivered. That honestly was one of the. Now, you don't really have a lot of cage matches in WWE anymore, from what I remember, from what I can recall in recent time.
They're few and far between, yeah.
Right, but Trish Stratus had never had a cage match. She wanted one before she retired. She's not. I wouldn't call her old, but she is getting up there in age. And even for a veteran, I mean, she really, her and Becky both, man, they stole the show for that. For me, that was the best match on the card.
It was like 20 minutes, man.
It was hands down. And it's funny because a lot of those kind of matches, that last 20, 30, 40 minutes, you're just like, oh my gosh, could this end? Like, I remember watching John Cena matches, as great as he is, going, is this ever going to end? But I didn't fast forward through the Trish Stratus match or Becky Lynch match. I sat there and I watched it, and I was just like, they're putting on a clinic, and they're pulling this off. The crowd was really digging it. They were both really digging it. The only one I think that would beat them out, and I don't remember what WrestleMania it was, but it was the one where Rhea Ripley beat Charlotte Flair for the title in the women's division at WrestleMania.
That was either 37 or 38.
But that match, I think, is the only one in recent time for the women's division that really kind of set the bar really high for the women's division. Yeah, man, for me, that match was just, it was top tier. It stole the show. It was a really good match. You didn't have we didn't have Cody Rhodes for Payback.
No.
And we didn't have Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has kind of disappeared, so.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, they need to kind of take a hiatus. To put off of the gas pedal for that one.
Right.
Let it breathe a little bit.
But you didn't have Cody Rhodes, you didn't have Roman Reigns, you didn't have your two biggest hitters. So somebody had to step up. And I thought the women's division did really awesome. So my hat's off to them. And I applaud their efforts. I applaud their not even efforts, man. They're just the sheer show that they put on. It was awesome.
I think it should have been higher on the card than it was. I think the show should have opened with either LA Knight's match with Miz or Mysterio against Austin Theory. I really think the Becky Trish steel cage should have been higher up in the card, at least mid.
That's fair. I mean, but you know what? I mean, the rest of those guys, they had to follow that match. So you want to pull the crowd in. I mean, at the beginning, that's
I think the only one that did, at least in the early pay-per-view, was Mysterio Austin.
See, you and I kind of talked about this briefly the other day. I wasn't into that match. And look, Rey Mysterio is one of the greatest. He really is. He's top tier. He's top notch. He's a hell of a guy. But I can't get into this whole story with him. And I don't know what it is. I feel to kind of steal from, I'm totally drawing a blank on his name right now. Dave LaGreca from Busted Open. I'm not invested in his character, and I don't know why. I don't know what the disconnect with me and Rey is right now, and it sucks because I grew up watching Rey and liking Rey Mysterio, but I'm disconnected with him. It's just like these stories aren't doing anything for me. The whole LWO, it's just meh.
For me, it wasn't necessarily those two individuals. It was the fact that they were smaller guys.
Okay.
Now, hear me out. This is probably going to get a lot of shit, but more often than not, when you watch the women's division, it's not fluid. You can see them waiting, and they're thinking too much about what counter, where their spots are, what they need to do. And you saw that a lot in the Becky Lynch Trish Stratus match. You saw it a lot, and you see it a lot in the women's division. For some odd reason, they're not fast-paced, just slug it out kind of thing. It's almost like they think too much. With the Mysterio Austin, everything was fluid, man. It was liquid. You know what I'm talking about?
No,
there was not a single beat where they stopped and it was like, okay, he knows he's about to do this. Pause for like 2 seconds for them to do a backflip, and then, okay, now I'm going to do this. No, dude, they just fucking did it. And that's always been my issue with the women's division.
Right.
And that's especially with Mysterio and Theory. That's why that one stood out for me. And even Seth Rollins. You know, you have the bigger guys. You have Omos and Brock Lesnar and Undertaker and, you know, dare I even fucking say it, the late Bray Wyatt. You know, the bigger the guys were, it was more of a clubbing type match. How hard can I hit you? Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, perfect examples. How hard can I hit you? How red can I make your chest? The smaller guys, Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, you know, it's hell, even Chad Gable to a certain degree. They're more agile, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
Right.
So their match, just for the two individuals, didn't draw me, but the fact that I knew they were smaller guys, I'm like, all right, this is going to be pretty interesting.
That's fair. No, man, for me, a close second, it had to have been the Sami Zayn KO thing. And I'm a little upset that KO and Sami lost, but I feel like they're doing, because completely disconnected. Don't care. Judgment Day is on my last nerve. I'm just so over Judgment Day. And I got something about Judgment Day I want to get to in a minute. More so Dominic, but yeah, I don't like that storyline. I don't really feel like it's resonating with the fans, and I don't know if they're just supposed to get all this cheap heat with the fans right now, just get the fans to hate them that much, because it wasn't that long ago that Finn Balor was loved by the fans. And I know that they're heels now. I know they're bad guys, and I get all that. But just to see how the fans react to the Judgment Day, it's like they're not digging this. They don't like it.
Well, they react positively to Rhea Ripley. She's like almost the only shining light in that stable. It's almost out of place. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dom, every time he gets on the mic, people boo him, and it's weird. You see the whole disconnect between Damian and Balor. I don't know. The stable reminds me a lot of an older group when they first started out, and I'd say within a year, they're all going to turn face.
All of them?
All of them.
Man,
because something is going to switch, and they're going to get over, and then they're going to be a group that everyone loves to fucking hate, and they will have no choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Think perfect example. NWO, when they first came out. I didn't want to go there a little bit ago and say it, but when NWO first debuted, nobody liked them, and it took a while.
I did.
Okay, well, it took a while for the masses to embrace them. A lot of people, if they liked it, they only liked them for one member, maybe two at best. You know what I mean? I liked it because of I was a huge Kevin Nash and Scott Hall fan. They were the only reasons I ever watched NWO. And eventually, it got to the point where they had so much heat, the fans started digging them. So I think that's kind of what they want to try and replicate with Judgment Day.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. You think back, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall back then were megastars. They were megastars back then. And then when you bring Hulk Hogan, the icon Hulk Hogan, into the mix, and he turns heel? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm so mad at WWE for not having Cena turn heel in his prime. I think they truly missed out. But in the same sentence, I don't think that was all WWE. I don't think Cena wanted to be heel. Having the All-American, yes, he started out as a heel. I get it, with the whole Thugonomics thing. But the fans liked him so much automatically that he didn't really have a chance to really sink his teeth into being a heel.
Didn't Lesnar debut as a heel?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, and it just, I was one of the few that when Hulk Hogan turned and dropped that leg on Macho Man Randy Savage, I cheered. I was like, this is awesome. Because we were used to the Hulk Hogan coming out to save the day. The Hulk Hogan, he always won his matches. The Hulk Hogan that was constantly just there.
Yeah.
And then finally, he did something bad. It was like everybody wanted it to happen, but nobody expected it to happen.
Yeah.
So, man, I got to say, this beer is actually pretty good. I know I've been spoiled, and I talk a lot about
been really spoiled.
The long time coming.
You're welcome.
The long time coming is just it truly, honestly, is. I don't think there's ever going to be a beer that beats that out for me. I truly don't think so.
Oh, you just wait till you have their Oktoberfest.
But I'm not a dark beer drinker.
It's not dark.
Oh, it's not dark. Okay.
No.
But this Steve Austin's Broken Skull American Lager it truly is. It's pretty good. Now, is it better than Long Time Coming? No, not by a long shot. But this really is. The little description here, it says this beer is the ultimate reward for a hard day's work, brewed with the best American grown barley and hops. Oh, barley and hops. Sorry, there's a glare. Broken Skull American Lager goes down easy as a 3-day weekend. Cheers to those who are out there earning it. So this basically what he is trying to say, if you don't know anything about Stone Cold, is this is a working man's beer. You come home, you crack open a few cold ones. This is a cold man's beer. So I'm going to wash this down. That's not a bad beer. How are you liking your zombie beer?
Dude, I am loving it. I had it this weekend when my Steelers unfortunately lost. They got their ass whooped.
It's going to be a long season.
Yeah. You know what? Dude, I talk so much shit at work. But, you know, the amount of hate, I'm diehard, man. Even when they're like crap, I will support them 100%. I don't care.
Right.
And the amount of hate that I saw, like I was telling my wife this earlier, the amount of hate that I saw directed toward Pittsburgh after that game is like a bunch of fair weather fans.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I'm like, you're dictating how the rest of the season is going to go off of one game, expecting the results from the 3 previous games, which they were playing second and third string defense, to resonate on the field when it matters. And you're fucking stupid if you truly believe that was going to happen.
I didn't mark this 18 plus, but that's okay. We're a beer podcast anyways.
Beer. Yeah. I mean, think about it. Dude, the last team who ever went undefeated is going on what, 20, 21 years?
Something like that.
What was it? The 2002 Patriots?
Patriots, yeah.
When was last time an NFL team went undefeated? I'm wrong. The 07 Patriots. So 15 years ish.
Right.
So, I mean, come on now. Everyone is going to lose.
Yeah.
Period.
Here's
You really think people are giving that much crap to Mahomes? He lost. Go Lions, but he lost.
You know,
look at Burrow.
Oh man,
4 takeaways, 3 to the same guy.
You know, we're supposed to be a beer and wrestling podcast, but honestly, I don't care. This is our podcast. We're going to talk about what we want to. You don't like it, get the hell out of here. So last season I made it official. I've always kind of been a fan of the Jets since the Favre days. That's when I jumped on board with the Jets. Okay, it was the Favre days. I'll be honest, because Brett Favre was my favorite quarterback. I don't care about Brett Favre the person. I'm talking about on the field. He's always been my favorite quarterback. He's exciting. He was exciting to watch. He was a gunslinger. I don't give a crap attitude, and he had fun with it. So when he went to the Jets, I jumped on board, and I've always kind of rooted for him. I've always kind of liked the Jaguars. So, hey man, what's going on? Cheers to you. How you doing? But I've always kind of been a Jaguars fan. I'm from Dallas. I'm supposed to be a diehard Cowboys fan, and I like the Cowboys. I tolerate the Cowboys. The only times I truly, honestly pull for the Cowboys is when they play the 49ers, because I hate the 49ers, when they play the Eagles, because I hate the Eagles, and when they play on Thanksgiving, because that's my favorite holiday of the year. So that's the only times I pull for the Cowboys. That's it. You know what? If they go to the playoffs and they somehow win and get to the Super Bowl, great, good job, hometown team, way to go. But I Cowboys fans are annoying as hell, and that's one of the reasons I got away from it, because you can't go to a game and enjoy it because Cowboy fans are annoying. Oh, well, we were great in the '90s. That's like the 50-year-old guy at work that peaked in high school and is still living in the glory days. Okay.
Yep.
Stop it. We get it. You were good once. Congratulations. Okay, moving on. Last thing I'll say about football. I'm a Texas A&M fan. I bleed maroon. I am a diehard college football fan. My Aggies are going to have a hell of a year. I don't see us winning 6 games to make it to a bowl, and I am not looking forward to it.
But I haven't gotten into college ball, but yeah, man. You know, as I was saying, I was drinking this over the weekend. I managed to find a 4-pack at the local whipping that has like all sorts of hard to find craft beer selections, and I saw it. It was brand new. I was like, hey, let me give it a try. I love IPAs, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I'm like, I love the can. Dude, I had this clown staring right at me. This dude, he was like, drink me. Drink me.
Is that's not you in Twitch, is it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I changed my name. I told you.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I love it, dude. It's really, really good. I can't wait to try more of their stuff. I don't know how I'm going to be able to find some of their stuff. When I was over at Whippin', I did see they had a triple IPA, and I'm really intrigued to see if it's still available when I go there. Because
now,
if they do, I really want to try and get it.
Again, I'm new to all this. We know this. So moving forward, because I'm not going to stop the show to explain this every time. Moving forward, I'm going to ask a lot of stupid questions about breweries and double IPAs, triple IPAs, this, that, because I don't know. I'm still learning. So everybody know that going forward. If I ask a dumb question during the show, it's because I truly don't know and I want to learn. When someone says a double IPA or a triple IPA, what does that mean?
It's basically the way that they ferment the IPA. So it's like adding the hops later on in the process. You know, it's to enhance the bitterness and the flavors. You can dry hop it, which is basically DDH, double dry hop. You can triple, which is TDH, triple dry hop. And there's also been very few places that I found that do quad. Those are really freaking good.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of, you know, when you get toward the end of the brewing process, you know, you're in the fermentation tanks. It's almost like you're filtering out a lot of stuff and you're adding more hops later on in that process. It's kind of like recycling that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's kind of what it all boils down to. You want to try and get those hops and that flavor profile as strong as you can in that process.
I got you. I want to get away from beer here for just a second. Real quick, I'm going to do this live. I know this is bad to do, but I'm going to do it anyways. Me and the lady are going to probably Three Nations this weekend.
Nice.
There's a fall beer there that literally tastes like apple cider. I'm not kidding. Really, really good. I forget the name of it. I'm sorry, Three Nations. Please forgive me. But I'm also going to try to pick up some more. Long time coming at Denton County Brewery. So
I'm going to be there this weekend.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll see you there then.
Yeah.
But I got to work Saturday until noon. That sucks. But so I got to talk about this, and I know this is not what you want to talk about, but I got to get it out of my system because I've been sitting on this for a week.
Bro.
We got
Dude, I'm looking at Three Nations website.
Uh-huh.
They have a pecan pie porter.
Oh.
7.9% ABV.
Ooh.
30 IBU, so it'll be slightly bitter, but not bad. And it's a dark beer. Of course, it's porter, just like a stout. Porter with roasted pecans and notes of buttery pie crust. Sign me up.
And thank you for saying pecan and not pecan.
Oh, hell, fuck that shit.
I cannot stand it when people say pecan. It's pecan, damn it. Get it right.
Pecan.
We're getting into my seasons, okay?
And just like caramel, it's not caramel.
It's caramel.
It's 2 syllables. Caramel. That's it. I'm a Southern boy, god damn it. Caramel. That's it.
So this has been driving me insane, and I got to talk about it, get it out of my system, just so I don't have to worry about it anymore.
What's up?
CM Punk got fired from AEW. I'm not surprised. Kind of happy about it.
Riddance.
Now, I say that because I know at some point we're going to get some hate mail. We're going to get somebody in the DMs. We're going to get somebody at some point with a post. CM Punk is amazing on the mic. His skills are bar none. They are among some of the greatest to ever do it. His in-ring ability is great. It's amazing. He's got a lot of talent, but he is a cancer in the locker room. Now, with all that being said, John Cena, Dusty Rhodes, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Undertaker, all 4 great people, all 4 people that I look up to and I inspire to be like, love CM Punk, and I don't know what it is about him. I don't know if he has them fooled or if they're just strictly talking about business. I don't know.
I would say business. Now, here's the thing.
While you do that, I'm going to put a dip in, so I'm going to scoot to the side.
Cool. So the one thing that I disagree with as far as his mic skills is the fact that it takes talent to do what The Miz does, to do what Stone Cold did, and The Rock on the mic, John Cena, LA Knight, Seth Rollins. I can go on and on and on. It takes talent to blend that reality, of okay, is this like a legit shot at them? Is this an angle? Whatever.
Right.
CM Punk, everything that comes out of his mouth is not talent or skill. He's just talking. And typically with a lot of fucking hate. That's him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You compare CM Punk with The Rock. When The Rock goes on the mic, you know somewhat what to expect. He's either shooting different angles. Sometimes he'll blur that he'll cross that line sometimes.
Right.
But for the most part, he keeps it professional. It's The Rock talking, not Dwayne, right? When CM Punk gets on the mic, that's Phil talking. That's not CM Punk. That's not mic skills, man.
I disagree with you a little bit, okay? I'm not saying I totally disagree with you, but here's the problem that I see. Promos nowadays have to be somewhat real. You have to involve some realness behind it. We've all heard it. We've all seen it. TikTok, YouTube, whether you watched it live, what have you. The infamous pipe bomb that CM Punk did. Arguably one of the best promos, if you want to call it a promo, one of the best promos in the last 25 years. I didn't say the best. I said one of the best. Understand my words. So they have to be real. So I can appreciate where you're coming from, and I know where you're coming from. But at the same time, the promos have to be real because they have to strike a chord. And CM Punk knows how to strike a chord. That's what I'm getting at. When I say mic skills, I'm not saying that, everything's jotted down and he knows exactly what he's going to say, or he's The Rock and he's got it written on his wrist. I said what I said. he speaks from the heart. And again, they're real, and some of them, man, they burn deep. But I get what you're saying too.
It just I don't know. I never looked at him as one that had the mic skills, because it seemed like every time he got on the mic, it was just him talking. That was it. Just him talking. There was no skill in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, if you want to believe the rumors that he's fired so he can kind of make his way into WWE again, who knows? But
but I had to get that out of my system. I've been sitting on that stuff for a while, and it's been bothering me. I'm not surprised at it. I'm a little shocked that it happened this quickly, because it's been, what, a year and a half, 2 years?
I think so.
So he quit Ring of Honor, and he quit Ring of Honor to go to WWE. So can you fault him? I mean, that's like saying, do you want to make $100 a day or $10,000 a day? And no disrespect to Ring of Honor, because I know every organization, wrestling wise, from indie all the way up to the big leagues, they all work on their craft and they master their craft. But if somebody offers you that much of a pay upgrade, sorry. Then he got fired on WWE. Oh, it was on his wedding day. Well, okay, so it was on his wedding day. You know what? Yeah, people get fired all the time. It happens.
Yeah.
And then he got fired from AEW. It's like, dude, where are you going to go now? Seriously, what's left? Impact Wrestling? So, in a sense, it sucks, but there are two wrestlers that I just can't get behind. And again, I'm going to say this before anybody attacks me. Bret Hart is one of the best wrestlers, technical wrestlers. His mic skills I always thought they were lackluster, but that's up for debate. I'm not going to get into an argument about that. I don't like Bret Hart. I thought in the 90s he was great. I'll tell you this, because Stone Cold said it himself. Without Bret Hart, there would be no Stone Cold. And I truly believe that. But at the same time, I'm not a big fan of Bret Hart. Bret Hart's a big whiner, big crybaby. Yes, I know he got screwed, but you know what? They also made amends about it. Shut up. CM Punk, great mic skills, really good in the ring. He's a cancer in the locker room. Go away. I'm done talking about it. It's out of my system. Thank you.
All right. Well, you know what? That's a good segue into one thing that the missus wanted me to talk to you about.
Oh, no. I'm a cancer now? Really?
So she asked me a really good question the other night. And she wanted me to ask you, and I stumbled a little bit because it was hard for me to answer. Name two of your top two all-time favorite wrestlers. All time.
Stone Cold, The Undertaker.
And then name two that are your absolute favorites that you would want to hang out with, have dinner with.
Undertaker.
Are they the same people?
Undertaker. And just for the sheer fact of nobody works harder than he does, DDP.
Okay. So see, I was kind of the same way. I had one person on both lists, but then I would switch it. So for me, my all-time favorite wrestlers, I would say Edge and Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
And then the person that I would want to hang out with is Edge and Kevin Nash. But Kevin Nash is like right there with Shawn Michaels. And I'm like, well, he's my dude. I can turn on any Kevin Nash match and just fucking, I'm happy. I'm stoked.
Right.
But it was kind of hard too. It was like neck and neck. So I'm like, all right, well, if Shawn Michaels is on this list, then I'm damn well putting Kevin Nash on this one.
Well, and they're buddies. So you hang out with Kevin Nash, you might get to hang out with Shawn Michaels.
Fuck yeah.
Or vice versa. So, and I say DDP, and the other one would be Jake the Snake Roberts. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to drink with the guy, which sucks, but I get it. And but I said this on episode 1, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I will repeat myself. Jake the Snake Roberts is the reason I got into wrestling. So just to be able to pick his brain would be awesome. Really would be awesome.
That would be.
So, now another thing I want to talk about. This happened 2 weeks ago, 2 Monday Night Raws ago. We talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it again. Chad Gable. Him and Gunther had an amazing match 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. Holy crap. Did you see it?
2 weeks ago. So that was his actual title shot, right?
Yes.
Yes, I saw it.
That has got to be. I said this. I made a bold statement, and I stand behind it. If given the right push at the right time with the right opponent, which I think right now WWE has, Chad Gable is the next Kurt Angle. I said what I said. I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They're going to have to keep up that type of momentum with him, because if they don't, he's dead in the water.
I don't know how they are going to, considering what happened last night.
I saw the part where he came out and he called him out and wanted another title shot, and then Otis got in the middle of it, and then
it's a 3-on-3. It was Chad, Otis, and Tomas. I don't know how you pronounce his last.
I know who you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the 3 of them versus all of Imperium.
Right.
And Chad ended up pinning one of the 2 Goon squads. So I think they're setting it up wonderfully, but where does that leave Alpha Academy?
I think right now, Alpha Academy is fine. Ask me that question in 3 to 6 months. Ask me that in 3 to 6 months, and it may change.
I mean, nothing's really stopping him from holding that title, the Intercontinental title, and still be a part of Alpha Academy. I mean, hell, look at New Day. You had someone holding the world title, and it was like a group of 3-4 people.
New Day's still a thing. I mean, that just.
Well, yeah. Oh, and that reminds me, man. Tell me what you think about the whole Drew McIntyre thing.
So I read cheat sheets a lot, and a lot of the rumors and stuff, because I'm going to say this on live air. Hopefully this doesn't get back to my boss. I look up a lot of wrestling stuff at work.
Oh.
But no, I read a lot of the dirt sheets and the cheat sheets. Thank you. And she let the dogs in. There was rumor that they were going to have Drew McIntyre basically go heel, and that the original plan was for him to turn on Matt Riddle, but Matt Riddle is in trouble again, but they're not releasing as to why.
Well, no, they've released it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay, then I missed that story. I'm sorry.
He accused a port authority officer of sexually harassing him. And while they're investigating it, they removed him from future shows.
See,
while it all plays out.
Here's my thing with Riddle. He's fun to watch. He's entertaining. He's a great wrestler. He's a great entertainer. But the guy can't stay out of trouble. And that really ruins him for me. As fun as he is to watch, it's just like, and all the backstage stuff. And that's kind of the crappy part about social media, right? I mean, you find a wrestler you really like or you find entertaining, and then you read all the nonsense about him, and you're like, man, he has been in constant trouble. It was the drugs, it was the this, and I don't care what anybody's take on CBD is. I don't care what your take is on 420, your marijuana. Yes, I think they should legalize weed. There, I said it. I'm not going to get into the rest of it. I'm not getting political. I think they should legalize it, be done with it, and shut up about it. If you work for a company and they say you can't smoke this, you work for us, and you still continue to work for that company, that's on you. You were agreeing to work for that company. So if he's going to agree to work for WWE and he knows they have a no tolerance policy for THC or marijuana and he gets busted with it, guess what? It's your fault, dude. Don't blame anybody else. The whole thing with the court appointed attorney or lawyer, judge, whoever, official authority, it seems to be one thing after another. One thing, it's like, dude, stop. It's ruining. It really is. It's ruining him for me. For me personally, I can't speak for anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch him a lot during his UFC days, but ever since he was the Matt Riddle, the bro kind of thing,
Yeah,
I couldn't really get into it.
that's fair.
I mean, when he was teaming with
Randy Orton,
Drew McIntyre, with Randy Orton, I couldn't really get into it, man.
I did like the RK Bro. I thought that was kind of cool. But again, I'm a sucker for that old school kind of, goofy wrestling mentality. Like Otis, I'm a huge fan of Otis.
Oh yeah.
There's a part of me that wants to see Otis get a bigger push, but I think that would kind of take away from his character a little bit. And then you ruin who Otis is right now. And I said it with Brock Lesnar. Even when Brock Lesnar came back and he was wearing the tank top and the cowboy hat, and he was interacting with the fans and he was just having fun. I like that Brock Lesnar. I don't care if he's a good guy or a heel. I don't care. He's having fun. He's enjoying himself. And I want to see more of that with wrestlers. I really do. But speaking of enjoying yourself, it's kind of a bad segue, but I said I want to talk about Judgment Day more so Dom. Last night, Dom could not get a word in with that crowd.
No, Norfolk booed the shit out of him, bro.
And honestly, I don't blame him one bit. I get he's Ray's son. I understand he's really talented in the ring. I'm not saying he hasn't worked to get where he is. Again, wrestlers master their craft, right? But man, that right there to me, as a fan and as somebody who is starting to finally understand the business of wrestling,
that's perfect.
That speaks volumes. They don't want him around. It's not, and I say they don't want him around. I'm not saying fire Dominic. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the fans aren't buying into his character and they hate him so much.
No, they are buying into him. That's why he has so much heat. And that's why last night worked so beautifully.
He couldn't even talk.
That was great.
So, okay, maybe I see it a little bit differently, and I'll be listening because, again, I listen to the Busted Open Nation, Busted Open podcast on Sirius XM. Maybe Bully Ray will.
I have not watched another heel have that much animosity and hatred put on them where they could not even utter a single freaking word during a promo. I have not. Everyone else has been able to kind of talk, whatever else. They'll say a couple of words. They're like, what? Say a couple of words, what? Or you suck while they're talking. This dude couldn't utter a single word.
And you know what? Props to
his heat level is so high right now, man. Dude, the iron's hot. It was beautifully done.
When you put it like that, I see it. I do see it. But man, it just I can't get behind Dominic at all. And I know nobody can. That's the whole point.
I like watching Dom, to be honest. I like watching Dom.
But
I'm good. The whole dirty Dom thing he has going on, prison Dom, that shit is hilarious, man. I loved it. I remember watching his very first one. I forgot who it was, but I remember the announcer saying, hey, this is his debut kind of thing. And he was coming out with Rey Mysterio. And then what was it? The SummerSlam when it was him and Rey Mysterio. They were tag team with someone else or something like that.
Right.
Was it against Edge or no?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Dude, I mean, he has come a long way to get out from underneath
His dad.
Ray's shadows.
Yeah.
And last night proved that.
Yeah, I will
They
say
didn't
this.
shut him up because he's with Damian Priest or Finn Balor or Rhea Ripley. They shut him up because it was him. You could not script it any better.
Now, big props to Damian Priest, though, because Priest was able to grab a hold of the crowd and be like, all right, we get it. Shut up for a second. And Priest said something. I don't remember what it was, but he was basically, Priest kind of took over in that moment to kind of, pull the crowd back in a little bit to the story. And to have that kind of command in the palm of your hands when the whole entire crowd is just booing to no end, and he just, hey, knock it off and go right back to the story. That's pretty cool. I'm not a big Damian Priest fan, but I haven't really paid enough attention in his wrestling to really have an opinion. But I'm talking about an in-ring presence because he hasn't been around that long. But for him to be like, hey, I've been paying attention to.
I want to say he's been around for maybe 10 years.
Okay, well, I'm still new to Damian Priest, but just to have that type of command with the WWE crowd is huge. So,
he began an independent circuit in around 2005.
wow.
He was in Ring of Honor from 2015 to 2018, and he signed with WWE in late of 2018.
Okay, so he's been around for a minute.
About 5 years for us, but yeah, I mean he's been around for a while.
All right, fair enough. So we've talked Raw, we've talked CM Punk. I think we have Flashback is coming up or something like that. Flashback. This is the next one. Fastlane. Maybe it's Fastlane. I don't know.
It's Fastlane. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
But that's an NXT event.
Okay.
So that it's NXT No Mercy. Is the NXT one. They already have a few matches scheduled for that one. That's September 30th. And then you got Fastlane, which is the two main rosters on October 7th.
Okay. I don't really think they've announced too many matches for that one yet.
For Fastlane, no.
Yeah.
But your boy Dirty Dom is defending the NXT North American Championship at No Mercy.
Well,
against someone that I'm glad they finally fucking brought back. Mustafa Ali.
Okay.
Yeah. That dude's freaking phenomenal, man.
So I want to do something a little different. And I'm still trying to, I'm literally doing this on the fly, so bear with me if there's a pause here. Is there any storyline right now that you are just not buying into?
That I'm not buying into?
That you're not a big fan of, you're just like, I don't really care either way.
It used to be the whole Trish Stratus with Zoe Stark. And then now that she's kind of segued with Shayna Baszler, I'm not a fan of where that could potentially be going. I mean, I really don't give, two shits about the whole Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura feud storyline that's going on right there. I guess that's about it. I mean,
Okay.
I buy into pretty much, everything. I mean, you gotta have that suspension of belief. You know what I mean?
Right. For me, it's not so much a storyline that I'm not buying into, because I am buying into the story. But again, and I've used this a lot tonight, I am not a fan of Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm just not.
Yeah, not
And
anymore.
this whole thing where he speaks Japanese, and it's like, dude, we can't even understand what you're saying. And
Well, same with Asuka.
mhm.
But with her, I can kind of, for lack of a better word, I can kind of tolerate it. I like her wrestling. She's really, really cool. I like her.
But I don't really see, and I know it's still early in the story, right? But I don't really see where they're going with Shinsuke and Seth Rollins. Now, I think it was last night, Shinsuke, or was it last month? It was last Monday or yesterday. He attacked Ricochet.
I think that was last night.
That was last night. Okay. So
I
in the back
believe.
of my mind, I'm kind of trying to play ahead here. Could they possibly be trying to set up for Ricochet taking Seth's place so Seth can actually get a breather and take a break? Is that possible? Maybe they're giving Ricochet a push. We just don't see it yet. I mean, you've got to think, because they have confirmed, and this is now, granted, it's part of the storyline, but it's also true. Seth Rollins' back is literally broken in 2 spots.
Oh shit!
So it's not a work. It's not it's a shoot. It's true. And so he's wrestling on, dare I say, borrowed time. So I'm thinking, okay, let's play this out. Shinsuke and Seth fight, and they fight, and they fight. And then maybe eventually Ricochet finally snaps and goes after Seth, being like, dude, I stood up for you, and now this guy won't leave me alone, and this is your fault. And he goes after Seth instead of Shinsuke Nakamura. And then he beats Seth at WrestleMania, and Seth takes a step back, and then Ricochet takes the championship. Just a thought. I could be totally wrong. Here's another one I want to throw at you. Maybe they're setting up for Cody Rhodes to finally step in and be like, I'm going to help with this whole ordeal. And Seth turns bad. Cody beats him at WrestleMania, and Cody finally gets to become a champion. That's another way this could go. I'm throwing out some possibilities. I don't know anything. I haven't heard anything. I haven't read anything. It's just, these are just thoughts into my mind. Okay. This is inside the thoughts of whiskey, if you will.
I would say, all right, so this is how I see it playing out. At some point, they say Fastlane, it's going to be another Seth Rollins and Shinsuke match. Rollins wins again. Damian Priest comes in, cashes in the Money in the Bank, wins the title.
Okay.
Damian Priest has his push. He's now world title along with tag team champion. Right? I think that'll allow Shinsuke and Ricochet kind of do their own thing. And with Damian Priest and Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania.
Yeah. I'm not going to
If
say.
not, Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest by Royal Rumble. And at that point, they might have that rematch between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns again.
Okay. I don't really, and this is, I'm talking about now. Obviously, we can't see that far into the future.
Oh, I can.
I don't really see a Cody and Damian Priest fight brewing, but I'm not going to rule it out because you never know, right? Never say never.
Dude, they're always getting into shit right now. He's always involved with the Judgment Day when it comes to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Right. That's true.
And now you bring Jey Uso into the mix.
Right.
So if you want Cody Rhodes to be the face with Seth Rollins out, that's the perfect thing to do. He's already in a feud with Judgment Day. Give him that target of Damian Priest, who's now holding that title.
Now, I want to throw this little question at you.
What's up?
For me, it's not really a question. It's so much just I'm asking. This is what I think. What do you think? Kind of thing. Cody's got to win it at WrestleMania, right? If he wins the title in the next, let's say, 2 years, he's got to do it at a WrestleMania, right?
You would think. I mean, it would be a Dan O'Brien moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's exactly where I was going with it. I think the payoff has got to be worth it. And what better way to do it than at a WrestleMania? For me, can't speak for everybody else, but for me, WrestleMania is kind of WWE's way of giving back to the fans in a sense of you've gone all this entire year, right? The feuds, the fights, the bickering, the arguing. WrestleMania is where it all pays off. Not all the time, but most of the time, WrestleMania, the good guy wins. So if you're going to keep Cody a babyface, he's got to win at WrestleMania. Just my thoughts, just my opinion.
Well, let me ask you this. So they still have not announced who is getting traded to SmackDown from Raw. Now, if you don't think that there is a Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest matchup lined up, then what's really stopping? Like, what are your thoughts about Cody Rhodes potentially moving to SmackDown? Now's the perfect time to do it, dude. You're in the final quarter of the year. Now you're starting to ramp up Survivor Series. You're starting to prepare for Royal Rumble in like 3 months, 4 months. And then you got WrestleMania like right afterwards.
I can see that. Honestly, and I may get some hate for this, but I don't care. SmackDown for me is just lackluster. It really is. I feel like they're missing something. What is that something? I don't know. Well, they have Roman Reigns. Yeah, who's been absent for like 3 weeks. They don't really have an it guy, right? I mean, you've got AJ Styles, you've got a few other people that are in there, but
Right.
you don't really have that big draw. Okay, so you've got the bloodline on SmackDown. You've got your heel. Who's your babyface? Because this is what confuses me. And I'm not saying I hate this. It confuses me as a fan and as somebody, again, who's trying to understand the business. Jey Uso quits the bloodline, quits, air quotes, WWE, and then comes back to Monday Night Raw a few weeks later.
Right.
Why? I don't understand what the big deal about him quitting and just to bring him back in a few weeks. I mean, was that maybe behind the doors? It was just a way for him to take a week or two off, get some time with the family in. I don't know.
I mean, maybe
that could be.
I mean, hell. I mean, look how long this is all dragged out. Look how long
3
Roman
years
Reigns is now kind of setting out for.
Right. And so, but I think that
I mean, hell, even Jimmy Uso had a couple of weeks.
Right. So maybe this is when they bring Cody into SmackDown to kind of ramp up that brand a little bit. I don't know, man.
So I'm watching, or I'm not watching. I'm reading something here from a website that I often look out for, WWE news.
If it
Sports,
says Dave Meltzer, I don't want to hear it.
no, it's Sports Kita, and the headline is 4 stars who may get traded to SmackDown after Jey Uso's move to Raw.
Okay.
Now, number 4 is Cody Rhodes, which kind of makes the most sense.
Oh, they want to offer us a promotion for our channel.
Okay, go for it.
Absolutely.
Fuck off. Bronson Reed, who has absolutely no fucking push. No one's going to give 2 shits and a flying fuck if he transitions from Raw to SmackDown. Okay. Ricochet and Chad Gable.
They better leave Chad Gable alone.
But that's what I mean. It's like, who else could fill those shoes other than Cody Rhodes?
I think Chad Gable right now, and I said this earlier, you've got something special with Gunther, however you pronounce his name. You've got something special with those two. Leave it alone. Milk that cow for all it's worth right now. Maybe in 2-3 months, maybe around Christmas time or the Royal Rumble, maybe, I don't want to say break up the Alpha Academy. I don't think that's the right thing to do, but maybe find somebody else for Chad Gable to kind of fight. Maybe Chad Gable versus Austin Theory. Maybe Chad Gable versus LA Knight. I'm a fan of babyface versus babyface. I love those matches because it puts the crowd in a weird, really divided line. You know, you see the memes all the time. You know, back in the 90s, it was The Rock versus Stone Cold. I mean, you had 2 of the biggest stars at the time fighting one another, and the crowd cheered for both of them. That was awesome.
Hell, you had it with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon.
Right, exactly.
And that's considered the greatest ladder match ever.
You don't necessarily need a good guy versus a bad guy, a babyface versus a heel. You can have 2 babyfaces going at it. Hell, look at the what was it, a few weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was, Edge versus Sheamus. For Edge's, those matches are, that's what the crowd wants. They don't always want good versus bad or bad versus good. They want bad versus bad, good versus good. You know, now the heel versus heel, those are a little harder because obviously if they both got really bad heat on them, it makes it more tough, right?
Right.
But babyface versus babyface, oh dude, I will take those matches all day long. So, I hate to say it, but I'm running out of stuff to talk about here.
Well, I mean, that ain't bad, man. Fucking hour. I mean, shit, we normally go hour and a half.
Right.
But
so I've kind of repeated myself over and over tonight, but I'm really invested in the Chad Gable thing. I really am. I think his promos, they've done an awesome job with him. I don't like Gunther. I'm just not invested in his character, so it's perfect for me. It's just it's another character for me to hate. And I'm curious to kind of see where they go with the bloodline stuff. Like I'm not totally buying into the whole Roman Reigns thing anymore, but I'm like, okay, I'll give it a few more. We'll give it another month or 2, see where it goes. I'm still not understanding why WWE decided right now that KO and Sami Zayn lost the titles? Question mark. But maybe there's some
kind of push for Judgment Day for whatever reason.
Right. And again, I just not one of my favorites, but that's the great thing about wrestling, man. I'll say this is they're keeping us coming back. Oh, I do have one thing else to talk about. Sorry, I lied. But they keep you coming back for more. What are they going to do this week?
Well, I have a really good. So go ahead and say what you're going to say. I have a perfect prediction as to why they dropped the titles.
Well, I want to say this because, again, I felt like this was important and it just now popped into my head as we're wrapping this up. But last night was the end of an era, and I posted this on the Facebook page, Unpadded Podcast, if you're not following us there. It was the last time Vince McMahon and the Vince McMahon family were all going to be completely in charge of WWE before they sold out to this other company. And it's funny because if you watched last night, you wouldn't have thought that. You really wouldn't have.
Yeah, and they didn't really have any kind of attention brought to it.
So I'm confused maybe with all the McMahon stuff that was going on behind the scenes with the sexual assaults or the sexual whatever it was. I don't want to say assault. I don't know if that's the right word. Sexual harassment stuff. I don't know. Maybe McMahon just wanted to stay on the spotlight. Maybe he had bad health. We don't know the reason. I'm not going to try to speculate, but regardless,
from my understanding, he's still going to be part of creative, and Triple H is still, I think, over creative too, or something like that.
Something along those lines, but it was the very last time that whole family was going to have total control of that company. And this won't see the light of day, and that's fine. I'm okay with it. We're two guys that drink beer and talk wrestling. But thank you. I mean, you think 50 years, man, 50 years and nobody has said thank you to McMahon. Not one. So I'll do it. Thank you. Seriously. Cool. Cheers. But it's weird to me that it didn't get addressed. It didn't get brought up. Whether it was Shane McMahon, who we haven't seen since WrestleMania because he tore a quad, or Stephanie McMahon, or Triple H, or Vince himself, or Linda. Hell, bring out Eric Bischoff. Somebody say something. But no, nothing happened. And again, there might be reasons behind that. Maybe they just thought, you know what, it's just not the right time. We don't want to do it right now. Somebody's got to say thank you. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that all played out the way it did. I mean, maybe because in one way or another, I mean, he's still chairman of the company.
Okay.
And from my understanding, Triple H is still head of creative. They're just now under a broader umbrella.
Gotcha. Now, what were you going to say?
Fuck, let me remember. Oh. Okay, so what do you think if the reason they lost the titles was to give Jey Uso a much-needed push onto Raw, quote-unquote, show his loyalty that he's not part of the bloodline anymore. He's learned the error of his ways. And what if they were to try and push him winning the titles back from Judgment Day with either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn? I would think it would be more so Sami Zayn and Jey Uso winning the titles. And hell, maybe Kevin Owens going after Damian Priest for a potential title shot after Damian Priest cashes in the suitcase.
I don't hate that idea. Sorry, hang on. Thank you. I've been trying to do that all night. I don't hate that idea. I'm not going to say I see a flaw in it. I think for me personally, and this is my opinion, it would mean more if it came from Sami Zayn. But as a fan, speaking as a fan completely, I want to see him and KO do it just because if I'm looking at this from a business aspect and I'm looking at this from a fan aspect, we already know that KO doesn't like Jey Uso.
Right.
So how better to win not only the locker room, but the fans over completely? I mean, Jey Uso has the fans.
Right.
But to get that locker room behind him in the story, have him team up with KO and they win the titles.
That would be good.
So just a thought. I mean, you could take it as far as KO and Jey Uso do their own thing for a little bit, and then either we'll say KO turns on Jey Uso and Jey Uso fights Sami Zayn for his title of the tag team, just one title. It's crazy to think, and it's never happened before. So I just something new, something different.
Well,
something
I mean, because here's the thing: if you want to look at the tag team division, you're kind of scraping the barrel. Who else would legitimately be KO and Sami Zayn for the titles? The only other people would either be Judgment Day, who has all this heat, or maybe Chad Gable and Otis.
You're
but they're
forgetting
not.
about something. You're
Who?
forgetting about somebody. Recent reports, tag team legends, and I say this unequivocally, if I can say that word correctly, the best tag team of all time. His words, not mine.
Legion of Doom.
The Dudley Boys signed a contract with WWE as WWE legends.
Yeah,
So
but they're not going to win any titles.
They might if it's to put somebody over. It might be a passing of the torch.
Who would they pass the torch to?
Sami Zayn and KO.
They already have the torch. They've been running with that motherfucker for years.
Well,
they stole the torch.
That needs to be clipped and put on TikTok.
I mean, seriously.
Oh. Well, I mean, okay, but then look at John Cena and LA Knight. Did John Cena really need to come out and put LA Knight over?
No, but that's the thing. He didn't. LA Knight was already over.
I know, but it was that passing of the torch.
His way to get involved. LA Knight doesn't need fucking John Cena's torch.
Sounded dirty when you said it like that.
I know, right? If Dudley Boys really came out, I think it would be to kind of spice up the tag team division, which is the point I was making, is you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. You know, you don't have Ricochet and Dawkins.
Or Ricochet and Braun Strowman.
Or Ricochet and Braun Strowman.
So glad he went away.
You don't have, I mean, you got New Day, but they're face. Chad Gable and Otis, they're face. Who else you got? Street Profits,
Barf.
They're face, but they don't have the they don't really have the weight behind them to help propel them against KO and Sami Zayn. Does that make sense?
No, it does.
I mean, even the Vikings.
The Viking Raiders, such a stupid name.
It's like, okay, there are some tag teams, but they don't have that push or the fan backing to warrant putting them in that spot. The only team that has that right now is Judgment Day. Like it or not, it's the only team. You know what I mean? So yeah, have them lose the title, have it go back and forth. I mean, hell, at this point, now we've already set up a tag team match with Jey Uso and KO. Write it out. Let's see how that works. We already know Jey Uso has the backing of the fans. So
And
I don't know.
I completely random and off topic. This just popped into my head. I got to give a quick shout out, and I know he'll never see the light. This will never see the light of day, and he'll never see this.
Clip it and then post it, and he'll see it.
I got to give a huge shout out to somebody in AEW. The icon himself, Sting. 64 years old, and the dude is still doing matches. And not only is he doing matches, he's doing good matches, good quality matches. Still taking the big bumps, jumping off the top rope and landing on people on the ladders. Just insanely good stuff, man. And I'm not an AEW guy. I never have been. I bought into him for like 2 short weeks, and I paid attention to the storylines, and I just couldn't do it. But man, oh man, 64, and he's still out there just killing it.
Yeah.
That is insane. So I had to get that off my chest too. The only other thing that really popped into my head was last night. And again, I know neither one of us are real big on the women's division, and shame on me because I should be being a wrestling fan. But Nia Jax is back, and I don't know how to feel about it. I'm like, good for her.
That
but
was really out of the blue, and the fact that she attacked both. Her last outing, she's been saying she's 100% done with wrestling. It was a one-off when she came back for the Royal Rumble.
Well, she left because she was pregnant. So,
all reports that I have read that she said is she's done with wrestling. She was done. Royal Rumble was a one-off. She was happy, retired, if that's even the word that
you want to
she
throw out there,
used. Right? Yeah.
But,
so it really makes no sense as to why she came back like now.
But I'm interested in some of the storylines. Like I said, the Chad Gable, the Alpha Academy, and I think right now they've got lightning in a bottle. I just hope that this does not burn out too quickly. And that's my fear for Chad Gable, because I truly believe this in my heart of hearts when I say this. This is not me being funny or saying something out there. I think Chad Gable is the second coming of Kurt Angle. I really honestly do. But they've got to keep him hot like he is now, because the moment they lose that, it's over with. It's done. So the question is, well, how do you keep that heat, or how do you keep that spark, that lightning in a bottle? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
They need to have him win the IC title.
But I truly, honestly, I am enjoying it. His matches are great. His mic skills have gotten better. Written or not, I don't care whether he's winging it or if he's somebody's having to write it for him. I don't care. I'm enjoying it, man. I'm just his promos are good. The promo packages are good. Again, I'm not a fan of Gunther, but Gunther's like the perfect bad guy for him to be facing. So I really honestly am enjoying it. I'm pulling for Seth in this whole Shinsuke thing, even though I can't stand Shinsuke. I respect the guy. I know he's done a lot in New Japan. I know he came over to America. He's done, really good for himself, but I'm just like, I don't buy into that character. I'm sorry. I don't. Of course, we still have the bloodline, which will probably go on another 60 years. Who knows? So there are some storylines. I'm kind of curious to see where Trish Stratus and her story goes, but I honestly don't see that living past the Royal Rumble. Really don't. I think she probably retires at WrestleMania for good. And if she doesn't, good on her. I mean, again, look at Sting, 60-something years old, still going strong, 64 and still having matches. And if she can do it and she can put on good quality matches, great, awesome. I hope you can. So, but it's just the storylines are interesting. There's still quite a bit of stuff out there to watch and look for, but I got nothing else except for the last thing. I want to rank this beer. So do you want to rate yours first?
I would, let's see, out of 5, fuck it, I'd give it a 5, man. This is a damn good IPA.
Man, I tell you what, we're either having really good beers or we're being too generous.
Oh, dude, I can sniff them out, man. I'm like one of those fucking canine drug sniffers. I'm like, I can sense a good beer, man.
Well, I got to say, it's not my favorite beer, but I do like it. I do enjoy it. I can see myself drinking more of these. I'm going to give it a solid 3.5.
You have the lager, right?
Yeah.
The IPA was always my favorite.
I think because we did cheap plug here, RIP to Just Be a Dad, but we reviewed the beer on Just Be a Dad, and I think it was about the same as like a 3.5. I like this beer. I like the taste. It's for me, the lagers and the IPAs, it's those first couple of sips. I got to get past it. But once I get past that, I like it. It's a solid beer. Like I said, I'll probably have some more of these. I've got a 6-pack in the refrigerator. So, it's one of those that I can see myself enjoying and really getting into. I'm really hoping that one of the 2 breweries I go to this weekend have some different beers that I can take home and review for the show, because I tried that spicy habanero beer at Denton County.
Oh,
and it's got a bite to it. I am a connoisseur of spicy. I love spicy, hence why I have such bad heartburn. But I love spicy. So it was the perfect mixture, and it was funny because I'd take a sip of it, and when it hit right here in your throat, it's just like, yeah, there's the spice. There it is. I feel it now. And then what do? You take another sip of the beer. So I really enjoyed it. It's on tap right now at Denton County Brewing. So big shout out to them. It was a good beer. I really love that. Hopefully they'll have it in a can so we can review it soon. I think they said in a few weeks they were going to have it. So it's been about 2 weeks since I've been up there. So fingers crossed. And Three Nations has got a fall beer out right now, and it tastes, I want to say a cider, or like an apple cider. It doesn't taste like a beer, but I'm telling you, when you drink this, you're automatically going to think fall. It smells, it tastes fall. That's what you taste. So, really love it, really digging it. And hopefully one of those 2 beers I can get this weekend in a can, and we can review it on the show, because I'm loving it. You and I got to talk offline, not necessarily tonight, but I'm thinking for episode 10. Hear me out. Maybe not episode 10, but the celebration of Double Digit podcast. One weekend, you and I do something special at a brewery somewhere.
I'm game.
So we'll talk more about that offline. We'll keep everybody updated on it. But, just to kind of celebrate, you and I starting a podcast started off as a joke. And we finally just said, you know what, we're gonna bite the bullet and do it, and let's do it. So send it. And man, I've got nothing else unless you do.
Nope.
So with that being said, it's been a fun show. Stone Cold, excuse me, I say Stone Cold. It's Steve Austin's Broken Skull American Lager, 3.5. And we'll see you guys next time with our crappy music that we have.